What's up, book nerds? My name is Hillary, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a book unhaul, so let's get right into it. I have 2 stacks of books here, and I believe there might be around 15 to 20 books that I'm going to be taking to half-price books and hoping to sell them so that I can buy more books. And I'm going to go through each book, and some of them I have read and some of them I haven't read. The ones that I have read, I will give you a short summary of it if I remember what it's about. And if not, if I haven't read it, then I will just show you the book and set it off to the side. The first book that I'm going to be getting rid of is Huntress by Melinda Lowe. Now, this is my first book by this author, and I'm not saying that this is a bad book. I think I gave it like a 3 or 4-star rating on Goodreads. It's just, I won't ever reread it. I don't see it in my future of rereading it. So I want to take it and give it to somebody who would enjoy this book a lot more than what I did, or would love it a lot more and want to keep it on their shelves. The second book that I am getting rid of is a book that I read. I actually read it in a day, so it's not like it's a bad book, but it has been on my shelves for a little while, and I will never reread it. I already know that. And that is Ivory Bone by Julie Eshbaugh. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This takes place, I believe, during kind of like the Stone Age, and they're more of cavemen, but there's women also. I am having a hard time remembering what it's about, but I do remember giving this also a 3 or 4-star rating on Goodreads. I know there is another book to this one, so it's a duology, and I just don't think I will continue reading this series or rereading this book, and I am hoping whoever has it next enjoys it just as much as I did. I just won't ever reread it, and I don't want to keep it on my shelves where I can be bringing in more books that I absolutely love and will eventually reread those. The next book in this stack that I'm getting rid of is Never Missing, Never Found by Amanda Panich. And I can't remember what this is about. I mean, obviously it's about a missing girl. And I believe I didn't really like it that much. It is a YA book, and nothing against YA. I do like some YA books. They're either hit or miss for me, and this one just wasn't up to what I am used to from YA, and I think I gave it a little bit lower rating, like maybe a 2 or a 3-star on Goodreads. And I'm not saying it's a bad book, it's just I'm older, and some books in the young adult genre just don't mesh with me. If I remember right, I looked through this book, it's about a girl who was taken when she was younger, and it's years later, and her family has moved, and a new girl comes into her life that she knew from when she was a missing kid or something like that. And there's another story of a missing girl that happened at her job. So you just kind of go through that and her life, and there's a lot of back and forth in this book. I mean, the ending was okay. It wasn't amazing, but I think for 13 to 14-year-old age range, they would probably like it. So I'm hoping they will, and it is time for me to part with this book. The next book that I am getting rid of is not because I don't like this book or anything. It's because this is a duplicate copy, and I have it in hardback, and that is The Best of Me by Nicholas Sparks. Love Nicholas Sparks, love this book. Only getting rid of it because it's a duplicate, and I don't need 2 on my shelves to take up room where I could add more books into it. The next book that is on this pile is a book that I read last year. I believe I gave it a 4-star on Goodreads, but I think if I went back and thought about it, since I've thought about it, I think I might lower the rating on it. Nothing against the book, it's more of a magical realism, which is not my forte in writing, and I did listen to this on audiobooks, and I don't know if that's why I didn't like it, but that book is You Must Not Miss by Katrina Leno. I am so sad that I didn't like this as much as I thought I would, because this cover is so stunning. The birds and the pinks, and I think it's a gorgeous color. I just think Katrina Leno's writing isn't for me, especially if it's magical realism. And I am hoping that the next person that picks this up loves it and enjoys it, but it just was not the genre that is for me. Another book in this stack that I'm getting rid of is Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. I read Anna and the French Kiss last year, and I enjoyed that book. But I don't think I would continue on in this series. And this is the third book, and I don't have the second one, and I ended up unhauling the first one. And it's YA contemporary, and I'm not a big fan of YA contemporary unless it's by an author that I absolutely love. And I just think it's more for junior high age range. And like I said, I'm older and just don't see myself ever really picking this up. The next 3 books that are in this stack are by the same author. And I've tried reading this author so many times in the past, and I just don't mesh with her writing. I don't know if it's just too cutesy for me or if I'm just too old for it, but I'm just ready to get rid of them, to stop trying to read her stuff and just read books that I enjoy. And those are The Rest of the Story, Along for the Ride, and What Happened to Goodbye. And all 3 of these books are by Sarah Dessen. I have not read either one of these. I think I've tried in the past. I've maybe made it a couple pages in and just didn't really get into the story much. I believe it is YA contemporary again, and it's just not for me. I'd rather read adult romance. And moving on, hopefully these get to somebody who loves Sarah Dessen and will enjoy them more than what I probably would. This next book in this stack is one that I had such high hopes for when I bought this 2 years ago. And it was actually a prequel to another series that I absolutely love. I reread that last year, and then I picked up this book thinking that I'll reread those, absolutely love them again, and then jump into this one and most likely love it because I love the trilogy. Wrong. I absolutely did not like this book. It was either a 1 or 2 star on Goodreads for me. I think I ended up skimming the rest of it, made it halfway, and just called it quits. And that book is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Susan Collins. This is the prequel to The Hunger Games, which everybody knows what The Hunger Games is about. And if you don't, where have you been? But this book is about President Snow back when he was, I believe, a teenager, and he was in charge of training the person who was going in to the Hunger Games. And it kind of explains why he disliked Katniss so much and what his problem was with her. And it's just his story and why he turned out the way he did. And I just thought it was really boring, and it drug on for no reason at all. I don't understand. I don't know why Susan Collins thought she had to write this book to begin with. I love her Hunger Games book. Gave all those books 4 to 5 stars. Second time reading them, and I'm just ready to get this off my shelf and stop looking at it, because every time I look at it, I am disappointed in it. So, goodbye. The next book in this stack is one that I have not read, has been on my bookshelf for I think 2 years now. And obviously if I haven't gotten to it by now, and I haven't really gravitated toward it to read it, I probably never will. And that book is Kids of Appetite by David Arnold. I got this from Book Outlet and thought it sounded really good at the time, and I think it was only a couple of dollars. So I was like, oh, I'll get it and I'll probably read it. Never did, but at least it was only $2 or $3 on there. And whatever. I didn't read it. I wasted $2 or $3, but I'm gonna, hopefully it'll get into the hands of somebody that will like it. The next book on this list, I believe I got this from Goodwill. It sounded good at the time, just haven't gotten around to read it, probably never will. And that book is The Flappers Vixen. And I don't know much about this, except it says on the back, young, wealthy, defiant, beautiful, dangerous. It's 1923 and anything goes. I just don't feel like I am going to read this anytime soon. And as you can tell by this bottom shelf, I have so many books on my bookshelves that I want to read that I prioritize more than others. And I'm just ready to get rid of it. And I'm hoping whoever gets it enjoys it. But I will see this one later. This next book I am getting rid of. I've read it. I actually did like this book, but it is a thriller, and most of the time with thrillers, I won't ever reread them unless I absolutely love them. And this one was an okay book for me, and that is A Mother's Secret by Tess Stimson. And this is about a woman who, I'm trying to think, who believes that she is having mysterious blackouts and things are happening to her kid and she don't know why, and she thinks it's her fault. And through this whole encounter, you're trying to figure out who, if she's really hurting her child or what's going on with her. I did enjoy this book, and it's not too scary. It's more of a mystery than anything. It's not horrible, and I hope the next person who gets a hold of this enjoys it as much as I did. This next book is a book that I've tried to read physically, listened to it on audiobook, but I just was not enjoying it, and I'm just ready to get rid of it and to stop trying to force myself to read it if I already know I'm not going to enjoy it. And that is Anna K by Jenny Lee. This is a Anna Karenina retelling in modern time with a kind of like a Gossip Girl twist. That's what people say. I think I made it like a quarter of the way in it, and I just said, I'm not enjoying it. I'm going to put it down, and just never got around to it. And that's about all I'm going to say about it, because I didn't finish it, so I don't know the whole story. The last couple of books on this stack are books from Book of the Month that I absolutely love their books. I've either read these, tried reading them, or just want to get rid of them and won't even try and read them in the future. But the first book of the Book of the Month books that I'm getting rid of is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I absolutely love Romeo and Juliet. Don't get me wrong. But with this being a retelling of it in Shanghai in the 20s, I just wasn't meshing with it. I've heard mixed reviews. It's either you like it or you don't like it. And I know there's a sequel to it. And I know there's a lot of people out there who want to read this. So I'm just going to get rid of it, and hopefully it finds a happier home to somebody who enjoys this duology and enjoys this book better than I did. I made it halfway through it and said, I'm not finishing this. I'm not enjoying it. And yeah, so I wish I did like it, but ended up not. This next book I was really looking forward to getting because I love a lot of the books by this author, but this one was just, I don't know what it was. The main character was not the smartest. I made it through part 1 and said, I can already tell you kind of what's going to happen, and I don't like thrillers like that. I do like it when I'm like close to the end, and then I guess it, but not towards the beginning of the book. And then I started hearing online on BookTube from like Katie and Gabby that they absolutely did not like this book. And I was like, well, if they don't like it, most likely I won't like it, so I'm not going to waste my time to finish reading this or even retrying to read it. But that is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I have read, I think, 2 or 3 books by Riley Sager, and they're either a lot of times they're either hit or miss, and the ones that I have read have been really good and enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed them, but this one was just not it. I don't understand why he felt like he had to write this book. To me, it just did not make sense. So this book is about a girl who is in college, but is trying to find a ride home from school early because her roommate was killed by this serial killer, and she's just ready to go home and doesn't want to be at school anymore because she doesn't enjoy it, and she has a boyfriend there, and she gets a ride from this guy who puts up a poster or she puts up a poster. He calls her for a ride share, and she don't know this guy, don't know anything about him, but yet her roommate who was her friend, was murdered not too long before that. So what in your mind makes you think that you want to get in this car with a stranger that you know nothing about? And then once I read part 1 and was kind of getting bored already, I was like, this book's it's gonna put me down. It's gonna put me in a reading slump. So I'm ready to get rid of it. I'm tired of seeing it on my shelves, and this is the last time I'm gonna see it, and I'm so happy because I just want it out of my life because I want to enjoy Riley Sager's work, not dislike it and bad talk it. Okay. So, this next book, I got it because I thought, oh, this is going to be cool. It's written during a time of a pandemic. Everybody's in lockdown, has a relationship. It's a thriller with a murder in it. And no. I made it like halfway through the book and was just bored with it because it kept repeating itself a lot. And Katie Coulson did say, you either really like it or you don't. She enjoyed it. It wasn't her favorite book, but she's like, it's kind of cool because we lived through that time, and just reading it in a book was different. But that book is 56 Days by Catherine Ryan Howard, and this is about a girl, I believe. I'm trying to think where it's at. Ireland, and she ends up moving in with this guy who she's dating for a couple of days, and they're not even really, I don't think they're really even dating, but they move in together, and the lockdown happened, and in the end, 56 days later, somebody's murdered in the apartment. You don't know who. You're trying to figure out in this story on who it is. There's different points of views. There's the main girl, the main guy, and then these cops' points of view in it. And I just felt like it was too repetitive and did not enjoy it, and ready to just move on with my life. The next book that I'm getting rid of is the second to the last book, and that is Girl Serpentthorne by Melissa Bachardaus. I hope I'm pronouncing that right because I know I'm probably butchering it. What I know is that this is a Sleeping Beauty retelling. I've tried to read it and just never got very far in it, and just ready to get rid of it. The last book that I'm getting rid of is a book that I gave 5 stars to. Absolutely loved it. And the reason why I'm getting rid of it is because I feel like more people should read it and just share the love with everybody about this book. And I'm never gonna really reread it, but that is Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett. This was a beautiful book. It is about our main character who was born HIV positive, and her trying to go on with her life in high school without anybody finding out that she has this, and you go through her life as she's figuring out dating and so on and so forth. I don't want to get too much away because it is a short book, but it's very beautiful, and it's sad because there are people out there who are born with HIV and can't do anything about it. And I think this is really cool to have a character who has it, and you see how she struggles and her daily life and how her family deals with it. But I hope that whoever has this loves this book as much as I did, because it was such a good book. I can't praise it enough. All right, that is the end of this video. If you have read any of these books and liked them, I'm sorry, but this is just my opinion and my opinion alone. If you have read some of these books and you didn't like them, let me know down below on why you didn't like some of these books. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And if you would like to know when I'm posting, get notified for it, smash that subscribe button, because I'm hoping to post a couple times a week. I'd love for you guys to watch it and know about my videos. And until next time, keep reading, people. Keep your mind going and enjoy the books that you read. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!